All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gina McGlamry. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're diving into one of the most critical and often misunderstood parts of the Business Central ecosystem, EDI. So whether you're supporting customers or evaluating solutions yourself, understanding what works and what to avoid drives faster time to value, successful implementations, and long-term scalability. So as I mentioned, Gina McGlamry, your Business Central Channel Manager here at TrueCommerce. I have been in the Microsoft channel for nearly a decade now, but over the past year, I've focused primarily on Business Central, helping both partners and customers navigate EDI with confidence. If you're new to TrueCommerce, we simplify the order to cash process end to end, connecting EDI, e-commerce, fulfillment, shipment, and inventory all in one unified platform built for Business Central. This reduces manual effort, improves accuracy, and keeps your supply chain moving. To add a little life to these concepts today, we're structuring this session as a game of Who Wants to Be an EDI Millionaire? You'll see a mix of practical use cases, technical insights, and common misconceptions. Luckily, I'm not doing this alone. I'm joined by Jenn Claridge from Sabre IT, a powerhouse in the Business Central space, recently honored as a Microsoft MVP, which of course is very well deserved for all you do in the community. A fun fact about Jenn and I, a few months ago, we wrapped up a successful Dynamics Con in Chicago by heading to Soldier Field to see Beyonce. Unfortunately, the weather had other plans and sent a tornado our way. So after several hours of sheltering in place together, we made it through. So I think if we can handle that, we can handle a little bit of EDI trivia today. So Jenn, very happy to have you. If you wouldn't mind just quickly introducing yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, so just as Gina had mentioned, my name is Jenn Claridge, so I'm the Vice President of Operations here at Sabre. So I have been working with TrueCommerce just in the past on some of our EDI implementations, and I am ready to be a millionaire, is what I'm ready for.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to dive right into this presentation today with question number 1. Jenn, what does TrueCommerce use instead of a traditional van? On-premise point-to-point FTP connections, a cloud-based trading partner network, a peer-to-peer email exchange system, or a private fax and phone line integration? What do we think?
I believe it's B, a cloud-based trading partner network.
Perfect. Let's see. Yes, exactly. TrueCommerce operates on a high-performance cloud-native trading partner network, eliminating the need for a van. That means lightning-fast onboarding, access to thousands of pre-mapped trading partners. Jenn, tell me a little bit, have you worked with clients making the switch from vans before?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done that. And basically with the cloud-based, it just speeds things up. It's less expensive typically. We're not doing kind of the batch and then process approach. So definitely the cloud-based is the way that people are going, just for better security and just for, like I said, that speed and being able to process quickly.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jenn. Let's move on to question number 2. Okay. So we know ERP upgrades can feel a little bit overwhelming, right? We know that. So let's say we have a customer that's moving from GP to Business Central and wants to keep utilizing TrueCommerce. What happens with their integration, Jenn? Do we have to, completely rebuild? Can they support the migration without disrupting business? Their EDI transactions, are they going to be put on hold, or will they need to purchase a third-party middleware tool? What do we think?
So one of the advantages of a partner would be that I can support, or TrueCommerce can support, without disrupting business. I'm locking in A.
All right, perfect. Let's see. Exactly. Our ERP integrations are purpose-built, right? So they're made to make integration seamless. That means less disruption, no lost transactions, and a smoother path forward. Do you have maybe a customer story where this comes to mind, Jenn, more specifically?
So We haven't specifically moved anyone from the GP to BC with TrueCommerce, but in the channel, we hear about this all of the time, especially with the end of life with GP. Lots of customers are moving from GP to BC, and they are nervous about that, the ability to be able to move, and how does this affect me? I'm not an EDI expert. And the feedback has been that it's just been handled by the EDI expert, TrueCommerce in this case, and it was seamless. It didn't disrupt their business. Customers didn't know the change was happening, which is the goal, right? You want to minimize the customers knowing what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, and it's great advice. So, all right, Jen, are you ready for question number 3?
I'm ready. I'm feeling good.
Okay, so which of the following is true about EDI standards? A, X12 and Edifactor interchangeable. All companies use the same EDI format. Even within the same EDI standard, formats can vary, or there's a universal language that's being used by businesses. What do we think?
This one's a bit tricky.
This is tricky.
Yeah, some people get confused on this, especially if the business might seem the same. But I believe, I'm going to go with my gut, that even with the same EDI standard, formats can vary between the trading partners.
Well, your gut was right, Jen, because yes, even with X12 or Edifact, each partner might require something slightly different. So that's why TrueCommerce automatically updates partner maps. And I'm guessing that format changes can affect customers pretty badly. So is that something you've seen in the past where customers are struggling with that?
Yeah, I mean, they're dealing with Walmart and Target, let's say, right? They might seem the same. They're both department stores. They both have, the bedding and the food and all that kind of stuff. So you think that it's the same, but they're driving the requirements, the format, what they need to see. And so that can be difficult for customers to know what that format needs to be and how to troubleshoot it. So with someone like TrueCommerce and within EDI software, you can format based on that, Walmart or Target's requirements. And then when you're processing, it's going to use the structure that it needs to make sure that it gets through, and you don't have to deal with that order, using your hands or people doing that.
No, that's really good insight. Thanks, Jen. All right, next question. EDI 846. This is not your typical EDI document, Jen, so I don't know if you're going to know this one, but inventory inquiry tells you what's available in your warehouse, the shipping status of customer orders, how much you owe your suppliers, or the payment terms for your invoices. What do we think?
Well, an EDI 846 isn't the most common document, but Sabre does a ton of warehousing and support, being that we're manufacturing partners. So we are very familiar with this. What's available in your warehouse, locking it in.
Wonderful. Let's see. Yes. Real-time visibility with TrueCommerce helps customers stay ahead of stockouts and last-minute surprises. Really good, I think, ultimately for your customers, for sure, something that they're going to need to rely on to just make sure business is streamlined. All right, Jen, let's move into the next question. You just implemented a new EDI system, but your training partner says they can't process your invoices. Uh-oh, that's a problem. So
I want to get paid.
Yes, what do we do, right? So what do you think? We'll start there.
I think, and I would maybe phone a friend, but Eddie always ducks my calls, so I'm not phoning him. But the invoices are missing key segments or in the wrong format.
Yes. Bag segments and formatting slip-ups, they really do happen more often than people maybe admit or think, but TrueCommerce helps prevent that with proactive mapping and monitoring. I'm sure your team has run into invoice rejections before. Do you have any other, use cases there, Jen, where you see people needing to fix something like that?
Yeah, so actually quite a few years ago now, we were working with a customer. They were using the ERP system and they were using EDI, and they kept coming to us and saying, our documents are getting rejected. Our documents are getting rejected. And they kept hammering us on the ERP side to say, show me in the system where there's an issue. So we were looking at the data, we're looking at the setup, we're looking at whether or not there was customization, and we kept looking at the ERP itself. So finally we said, can we just call the EDI provider and have them look at the format? Because we're not EDI experts as a Business Central partner. We rely on the experts in those areas to give us feedback. So finally, the customer called the EDI provider. They looked at it within 2 minutes. They're like, yep, your format's wrong. Quick fix. They knew it immediately. We had been spending, quite a few hours at that point trying to fix the problem on the wrong side. And it just caused a bunch of delays for the customer. So, EDI experts, having a partner who understands those formats and those requirements, being able to look at the error handling and what it can do, that's the beauty of an EDI. You guys do this all day, every day, right? That's where we rely.
No, that all makes perfect sense, Jen. All right. We're more than halfway there now. You're doing an excellent job, I have to be honest. So let's get into some harder stuff. So what is the primary benefit of using EDI over a manual document exchange? And I think maybe you can make an argument for any of these, but if we had to pick one, we've got lower staffing costs, faster data exchange, easier paper trail, and increased customer satisfaction scores. What do we think is the most important, Jen?
Well, like you said, I think that all of these things can be true, but if you were going to pick the thing that was the most true, if it were me picking that, I would say faster data exchange and reduced errors.
All right, let's see what we've got here. Yes, of course. When you take out the manual steps, right, you're speeding everything up from order entry to cash collection. And I'm assuming you've seen your customers benefit from automation in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the less that a human has to touch something, and I think that that's true in any case, obviously, the better, right? Like we're all human, we all make mistakes, we can transpose numbers, we can import incorrectly. I think the error handling, being able to have a system look and say, this is the wrong part ID, this is the wrong unit of measure, this is the wrong data. I mean, we're looking at, in a new world, systems to be able to help us point to the problems quicker so that we can focus on dealing with the exceptions and let all of the things that are just everyday and normal and work correctly, they can just flow through. That doesn't require the human touch or, the human intervention. So I've definitely seen it where people are focused on the things that they need to be focused on, like the air handling, but they're not, touching it and it's less keystrokes, and I guess just saved time, right, is the key thing. We want to move towards automation in sort of all capacities.
Yeah, that's absolutely, I think, in lockstep with how we're operating as a business, and customers in general are just looking kind of to the future and making sure that they can automate a lot of these processes that cause them headaches. So very, very good. All right.
People are busy, right? We want to save them time.
Yeah, absolutely. So related to global expansion, your company is expanding globally and needs to support both X12 and EDIFACT, so North American and Europe standards. What is the best solution? So use a modern EDI platform that supports multiple formats, build separate custom integrations, manually convert. That sounds pretty painful. And then outsource document conversion to a third party on a case-by-case basis. What is your instinct telling you, Jen?
Yeah. My instinct's telling me I should maybe travel to Europe, get some coffee and a croissant to do some more research on this. But since I don't have time right now, just like you said, go with my gut. And I would say use a modern EDI platform that supports multiple formats. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Yes. Very good. You're right. TrueCommerce does support both X12 and EDIFACT for international growth. So you're spot on there. All right, Jen, our favorite topic, moving to the cloud. So let's dive in, right? What is the primary reason you're seeing your customers move their EDI systems, and I mean more even probably broadly ERP systems, to the cloud? Is it to reduce the need for in-house IT staff to maintain their EDI infrastructure? Is it faster, more scalable and cost-effective transactions, to comply with data retention requirements, or to avoid compatibility issues? What do we think?
I think I can be a dreamer and my head can be in the clouds. So this is a good question for me. I would say faster, more scalable, and cost-effective transactions.
Sure. Yeah. You've got it again, Jen. That's right. EDI Cloud offers speed, scalability, and cost savings. It also takes the pressure off of those internal IT teams, right? And adapts as your business grows. So when we talk about sort of the long-term success of a client, Jen, and we want to future-proof their EDI strategy, what do you think is the best approach? You've been in this industry a long time. You've seen a lot of customers kind of come and go. Do they continue using their current on-premise EDI system? Do they rely on manual workarounds, invest in one-off custom-built integrations, or do they just move to a modern cloud-based EDI platform?
Like I said, my head's in the clouds all the time. I don't need a 50-50. I don't need to ask the audience. I don't need a tip. It's move to a modern cloud-based EDI platform. Yep.
Yeah.
Come with me to the cloud.
Yes. And continuous updates, scalability, that's what really keeps clients competitive, right? And maybe you can share a little bit about how, Sabre or just partners in general are preparing for the future as it relates to this topic.
Well, I think, like you said, like just automation, they're looking for growth, they're looking at volume. So we have customers, for example, like in the automotive industry, where they're getting orders every single day, and every single day the forecasts and the releases on those are changing, the quantities on them are changing, the dates on them are changing. Like in today's modern world with issues with supply chain and issues just with like wanting to be able to get things faster, we want to be able to have tools like an EDI function to go in and handle some of these changes so that we can do what we do best, which is like building the product and sending it out the door. So I would definitely say that moving to a solution that can grow, that can be automated, that can be connected to and updated easily, that's easy to be formatted, that's easy to be modified based on the different needs of different customers, as an example, like we talked about in like an automotive industry where you've got same types of customers, but formats and requirements are different, or the example of Walmart and Target. Like we definitely want to see us moving to that space where when things are happening quickly and changing quickly, we've got things in our toolkit that can help us so that we can focus on the things that really matter in our day.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great answer. All right, Jen, last question of the day. You've put in a lot of work here so far. So I think
I'm going to buy a boat with this.
Let's wrap it up strong.
Yes. $1 million bucks. Yeah.
So API is obviously a huge topic in our world. And as it relates to EDI, I think especially, right? So, the narrative is EDI becoming obsolete because of APIs, true or false? What is your take?
My take is false. That is untrue.
Yeah. And ultimately, you're spot on. EDI does remain the backbone, but APIs, woo! Great job, Jen. Yes! To stop and celebrate. APIs enhance connectivity. So really, we support both and give customers the best of both worlds. And, with that, Jen, congratulations again. You've officially crushed Who Wants to Be an EDI Millionaire. Not surprised at all.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a fantastic guest and for sharing your expertise with us today. And of course, a thank you to everyone who joined us. We hope you had some fun, learned something new, and walked away with a clearer picture of how TrueCommerce helps businesses connect, automate, and scale, not just with EDI, but across the entire supply chain. So thank you. If you have any questions, you can feel free to put them in the chat or follow up with Jen and I after the session. We'll be sure to reach out with our contact information. Once again, Jen, you're a pleasure, and I'm excited to see you possibly at Summit. And thank you again.
Yes, I hope to see all of you there. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Awesome. So if we have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask our lovely hosts directly. I see we have Matt in the chat here. Matt, do you have any questions for us?
Matt wants to know if I'm going to take him on my new boat, and I will.
No questions today for Matt. Okay, that's awesome.
You missed your opportunity, Matt. You're still invited.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
All right. Do we have any more questions? No, it looks like we're done. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for today. You can find our social media and our website in the chat, as well as learn more about TrueCommerce. We also have a Calendly link to book a 30-minute one-on-one with one of our experts at Sabre Limited. Thank you for joining us for today, and we look forward to seeing you at one of our upcoming sessions in the future. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks all.
Thank you.